Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I got to add a couple to that one.
Yeah. So we just picked up a new sponsor. I brought it up last show. I'm going to bring it up this show. Susquehanna Custom Lures. It's just become part of Big Sexy Outdoor in a sponsorship program. So if you're looking to show off your product or you want to come on a show and talk about them, not only did he sponsor us, he will be a podcast guest sometime in March. It's looking like.
Okay.
So, here we are in March. So looking forward to having him on next week's show. I want to bring up real quick at the opening. We will have
not next week.
Chris, help me out.
Every
2 weeks. Help me out here, Chris.
What?
I forgot everybody. I got 30 notes here I've been writing for the last 2 hours.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, they're coming on to talk trophy versus meat hunting. And it's the same group that was on for the crossbow debate.
So next Monday, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, we're actually going to have on, bear with me, please.
You can't read.
I have so many notes here, guys, you wouldn't believe me. So we are going to have on Northern Mountain Game Calls.
That's the 17th.
17th, that will be.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's going to come on and he's going to tell us a little bit about what he does and how he's here. So I'm looking forward to having him on and meeting with him. I always like hearing the passion behind what somebody does. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we have somebody we're bringing on to join us tonight, don't we?
Speaking of high-level passion, we have...
Hey,
what's up, guys?
The man, the myth, the legend has just showed up.
All right, that's enough of that.
Hey,
anybody take notice of that hat he's wearing? Let me see that hat. What's that hat say?
Mm-hmm.
Interlock broadheads.
He should be getting another hat.
Sounds
soon.
like the best broadheads to me, bud.
Now listen, I had on my Big Sexy Outdoors when we were doing the thing before the show. And I was like, no, wait, Ben has his Interlock Broadhead hat on. I'm putting mine on.
You should have it on, absolutely. Interlock Broadhead supports us. We support them. Let's. I think we should just get right into this show. So let's start by our opinions of what we thought of last week's show. Chris, let me hear from you first.
Sorry, I was trying to help Mike. Mike is supposed to be coming on and trying to help him get on.
Oh, nice. All right, Skip, you go first. Give Chris a second.
Where were we?
Your opinion of last week's show and the topic of what we discussed. Where do you stand after watching it?
I'm in between on both because I use a compound and a crossbow. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of them things, people are saying, that it's more like rifle hunting, which I find it not even close to rifle hunting. Yeah, you sit and you hold up a bow with a stock, but I mean, I could say it's BB gun hunting, the same thing, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm in between both because I use my compound and my crossbow.
That's kind of where I'm at. I got a bunch of comments here. I'd love to. I wrote down that I want to share through. I wrote their name and who they are. Let me hear Chris's opinion here, if he has a second.
Yeah, I got a minute. Then I'll go back to helping Mike. Oh, okay, Mike. If you can hear me at all, I know what the problem is. Okay, and I promise you, I'll get you on phrasing. And unlike Ben, who wants to get you off, it's in a minute. Okay, but as far as what happened
Sounds like something I'd
last
say.
week, I mean, of course, it didn't change my mind. I used to use compound until I went to the crossbow, and if we're allowed to use it, it's no different than baiting to me in other states. They're allowed to do it. So I mean, go ahead, I guess. Now, I have seen people that not only bait, but then they also put a fence around their baiting thing. So, I mean, but if they're allowed, what can we do?
Oh, I agree with you. I do agree with you. So I got to tell you, after last week's show, I come up with a little bit of a conclusion. Let me get my hand away from my face. I apologize. So after watching the show, I did make a couple notes. First, I want to thank Ryan, Billy Gee with Horns and Fin Outdoors, Jeff Pike, and Aaron Barnes with Dual Threat Outdoors. I want to thank you guys for joining us last week. I think it was a great show, and I thought you guys were super, super respectful, even though you agreed to disagree. So first I want to start by saying that. I put a lot of thought into this. I put a real lot of thought into last week's conversation, and I got to tell you that I tried to think of really what would be the difference. What would be the point that would cause the argument, okay? So I thought real hard, and this is what I've come up with. I've come up with one major difference that I allowed Ryan Huffman to win off screen, which was you do have to draw the bow back at risk of the animal seeing you. So I did agree that with Ryan, again, off screen, we talked a little bit, and I agreed totally that is a difference, and that I have been busted many times as a compound bow hunter doing that. So I left him win that argument with me. I told him it's probably the only one who'll get with me. As for anything else in last Monday's conversation, crossbows versus bows, I just felt like at the end of the day, it came down to the hunter and the ignorance and not the weapon. You know, I said it then, I'll say it now. I think that when it comes down to crossbow. So I heard many times from Ryan and others that when you hunt with a crossbow, you lose the I have it written here, bow hunter's experience. Okay, that's what they call it, the bow hunter's experience. I personally don't think you lose that experience with a crossbow. I don't. I do, however, think if you're shooting over that 40-yard confident mark, and again, when I say confident, it comes down to what you do and know. I don't shoot a Raven. You're not going to see me shoot over 40 yards. Okay, some of these guys with Ravens, I know a guy who won't even shoot one unless it's 60 or farther. I don't see a point in that. And then I feel you're losing the archery experience. The archery experience, and Skip, at any point jump in, but I think for me, the archery experience is getting the deer up close. You know, the experience is when you're sitting in the tree stand or on the ground and you hear that, and you're like, oh crap, here he comes. Here he comes. And then you turn around and it's a gray squirrel. or you, that one time you think it's a gray squirrel and you turn around and it's, an 8-point buck. Okay, is he going to get here? Is he going to get here on time? Oh, he's at 40. He's coming. Oh, he's at 30. Oh, my God, he's too close. I can't lift my bow. Right? Like, to me, that's the archery experience. It's not the weapon. What's your thoughts, Skippy?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so me and you vary a little bit there, but all on the same premise. So, I mean, even with the deer I've shot with the crossbow, and I've shot plenty of deer with a crossbow, none of them are over 25 yards. I think the buck I shot this year was at 30, but it was still within that comfortable compound bow range. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes the bow experience.
Right. And so even with, I mean, not everybody, I mean, just me, but just that deer, the closer you get that deer, the better you feel and more confident you feel about shooting it. So, I mean, even though I'm shooting a crossbow, I'm still waiting till I'm confident enough in the yardage and that deer's close enough to do it. And I'm going to do the same exact thing with the compound. So, I mean, me max shot with the compound is about 35 yards. 40 yards, pushing it. Even with the crossbow, it's still about the same. Yes, granted, I probably could take that 50-yard shot, but just to be ethical, I'm waiting till if that deer won't come in any closer than 40 yards, I'm probably going to take that shot if I have a good shot.
Chris, I see your hand. You're
All right.
up.
Yes. Hold on 1 second.
Oh my God,
There you
he's alive.
What's
There
up?
he is.
Hey,
He's alive! Michael Nye is alive!
What hat's he got
So-
on?
Let me
look,
see.
wait
What
a
does
minute.
that say?
Wrong one. Eric, hang on.
Wrong one. There you
He's
go.
showing off the wrong hat. He's fired.
That was my Kettle Creek one. I thought I had it on.
He's fired. No.
I kept hitting buttons. I don't
Outta
know
here.
what I did, Chris, but it went through.
Glad you got here, boss.
I just kept
So-
hitting buttons. I don't know.
Chris, come back on screen, you meathead. BSO's here tonight. Get on here. Now,
There.
so you guys are all hearing this conversation, Mike and Chris. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, do you feel at any point some of these guys, that were on are saying that you would eliminate the bow hunter's experience? Do you feel that's involved with a crossbow? Do you feel like that experience is gone?
Dude, I'm 50 years old. I don't give two shits anymore. I want to get meat. That's what I'm out for. I'm not out for an experience. You want the truth? That's the truth, how I feel about it.
I love the truth. No, truth is good.
Well, there it is.
That's what your neighbor told me too. You were looking for meat.
Well, yeah. $20 is $20. I didn't have to pay him as much.
Times are tough, man. Times are tough.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
I'm 54, so hey, as long as
Oh,
it
he's
gets
with
you out.
Chris. Look, cheers.
Now, wait a minute. I'm
All
in the
right, so let me
50s
ask you
club
this.
here.
I'm not in the 50s club yet. Let me ask you
No,
this, Mike,
okay.
while you're on the big
You
screen.
look at
What do you consider? And each one of you, I want the answers. What do you consider the real bow hunter's experience? Hey, Barnes.
I would say with a longbow, recurve, traditional.
yeah.
For you, that would be you
Yeah.
don't hunt with a longbow, right? So what's
I
yours?
want to. I
What do
don't
you
have one, no.
consider?
To me, as long as it's ethical and it's legal, I'm game for it. I don't have a preferred
Mhm.
choice, but I'd like to do the longbow or recurve. I'd like to get into that.
Yeah.
I've hunted
Like I saw somebody.
compound, crossbows. I've done them all except the traditional stuff.
Cool, Barnesy.
So
Like I saw
it was
somebody
brought
this
up a
week
lot.
who went on a.
Go ahead.
I saw somebody this week who went on a hunt for pigs. They knifed them. So I mean, how traditional do you want to get here? Do you want to go back to spears, or do you want to
Well,
throw
I'm not
rocks
Tim
from a
Wells.
cliff? Right?
Well, what I'm
But
getting
no,
at
that's what I'm
here
saying.
is
I mean,
last
we all
week
use technology. It's the advance of it.
Right. But last week in conversation, we heard often. I know all of us heard, all the viewers, us, about the bow hunting experience. What is your bow hunting experience? You in general, if you're in the woods, what do you consider that ultimate bow hunting experience?
Me personally, I just
Is it sitting on the ground, a deer at 8 yards? Like, what is it? What is that experience to you?
I like to be up close. I don't care if it's in a blind or in a tree. If it's 15 yards or whatever, it's getting close to mature animals.
Go ahead,
That's
Chris.
a good thing you brought up.
Put yourself in a big screen. You don't get like that. Big screen yourself.
But no, that's a good point
got
you
the
brought
figure.
up, because blinds, blinds, especially the pop-up ones, for me anyway, are recent things. So how is that any different? You're pretty much, masking yourself completely that way, instead of being a traditional ground hunter using actual ground cover like I do, or if you're up 20 feet, 30 feet in a tree. It's the same concept.
So I want to throw 2 comments out here quick before you answer yours, Skip. And that is PA Backwoods last week, and I told you I have 100 notes here, said it's really all in what you want from the sport. And I think that's it for the bow hunter's experience. And then I also think that there was another comment made. Hold on one second. I apologize. Hunting is not a competition. If it is, we will always have hate for each other. Joe, God, I don't want to pronounce his name, but Dafsick said that. So, I mean, yeah, what Chris is saying is right.
Yeah.
We're up.
What was that, Ben?
So you're up. What do you consider the ultimate bow hunting experience?
I mean, from a compound standpoint or a crossbow standpoint?
Depends.
I mean,
what's yours? What's your ultimate? Is it a toothpick and a thread and needle? I mean, what is it? What is?
That's a tough. That's actually, a tough one to answer. I mean, what exactly is that perfect bow hunting experience? You know what I mean?
All right. So I'll help you. I don't think it's hard. Let me help you. My personal bow hunting experience. I'll lay it out for you. I don't care if I'm in a tree stand. I don't care if I'm on the ground. I don't care where I'm at. I want to be, of course, in the woods, right? That's number one. I want to be in there. I want to be part of the hunt. I want to feel like I'm part of what I'm doing. So I want to be part of the woods. I want to be one with it. Number 2, I want that animal up close and personal. Yep. Like there's nothing more that I loved when I was a compound bow hunter than a shot that was straight down at 5 yards. I mean, I absolutely love that shot. For me, the ultimate experience is that thrill, that rush, that heart-pounding throb I get when I see that buck moving close. That's the experience. I don't care if I'm holding a compound. I don't care if I'm holding a crossbow. I will never get that same experience from a rifle as I will with a bow or crossbow, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, as long as I'm in the woods and I have a deer coming to me, that's probably the ultimate hunting experience or archery experience, whether it be a compound, a crossbow, longbow, or recurve. I mean, it's all the same. You're waiting for that animal. As soon as you see that deer, that buck, that doe, your heart starts pounding no matter what. I don't care if you've hunted for 50 years or 10 years or 5 years. You always get that rush. You know what I mean? So it's probably just the rush of seeing that deer is the experience.
And if you stop getting that, you might as well stop hunting then.
I totally agree. Go ahead, Chris. Your hand's raised. I love that you raise your hand. You're the only guy that doesn't. We all just jump in.
I know. And and you're going to get mad. You're going to get mad at this. Okay. How is it any different? If I had the single greatest crossbow in the world, let's pretend it shot 1,200 feet a second. I know it won't, but you know what I'm saying, right? How is that any different than having, 90 acres of private, where you can put out the perfect plots, bring them in? How is that the real traditional hunting thing, rather than going out and I have no idea where anything is, so I got to do all the scouting and everything, right?
Well, you got to put the work in, no matter what property you have. Whether your work is food plots, absolutely.
See,
if your work is putting in food plots,
then that's not traditional. Then that's not traditional.
How isn't it? What makes it different? The experience for me is being in the woods. The experience for me is the deer getting close. I don't care if it's me putting the work in, planting something, hoeing something, raking something. I don't care if that's what it takes to get that to happen.
Then it shouldn't matter what weapon it is either.
I agree totally. I'm saying in the archery hunting experience, for me, it doesn't matter. I think with a rifle, I can kill a deer at 200 yards. There's no rush in that. I'm meat hunting. Yeah. And that's just giving my opinion. I don't want to piss nobody off, but I think any Tom, Dick, and Harry or moron can shoot a deer with a gun. I think if you really want to get the experience and you want to feel that rush, you got to be able to kill something with a bow and get it close. Now, I'm not saying if you don't kill a Boone and Crockett, you're not jumping up and down and happy, because I've shot some big buck. And let me tell you, I was just as happy no matter what I killed it with. But what I'm saying is the bow hunting experience is that close up.
So along the lines of what Chris was saying about the food plots and everything like that. So let's
or guided hunts even.
Yeah, let's take it one step further. I forget. I think it was who was it that made the Super Slam arrows?
I don't remember. I know what arrows you mean, but I don't remember.
Let me look that up for you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, who was?
Wasn't he in the WWF?
No, it was Easton. Easton makes the arrows, but they named the arrows after him. Super Slams. Because I think something about him doing so many Grand Slams or something. Grand Slams in hunting. They named
Eichler,
arrows
maybe.
after him.
Maybe Fred Eichler or something. I don't know.
No, Chuck Adams Super Slams.
Yep, that's it.
Do you remember Chuck Adams?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Okay, so I read something he posted a long time ago about a lot of bow hunters. So Chuck Adams did a video, oh my God, probably back in the early 90s. I would say like 95, 96, somewhere around there. It was around the takeoff of the Chuck Adams Super Slams, and everybody was running overdraws and stuff like that. But he made the comment about a lot of hunters don't want to go more than 100 yards into the woods. So right. Chuck Adams did a video where he just drove until he came to state game lands, and he walked back in there 3.5 miles and sat up and shot this 13-point buck. He just drove, stopped, and just walked 2 miles, 2 or 3 miles into the woods. Now, to me, that's the ultimate. That would probably be the ultimate hunt, because you have no clue where you're at. He ain't got no food plots, no trail cams, no nothing to know that there's any deer back in there. You know what I mean?
I get it. So Chris brought up guided hunts. Let's go back to that. If you pay, say, $2,000 and you go to Canada to shoot a bear, or $8,000 and go to Alaska to shoot a grizzly, and you get that bear within 12 yards, eating out of a trash can, whatever it is, a bait buck. Is your heart still racing 100 miles an hour? Are you still pumped and excited and nervous? I would be. That would be just as exciting to me, and just as any other hunt.
Is that the one you were looking at? Or is this a different one?
I'm not sure. It was so long ago. We're talking in the 90s.
I think it might have been
I'll look around.
I remember him having a thing, where most hunters won't go more than 100, 200 yards into the woods to hunt, when he walked 2 miles or 3 miles into the woods or something like that.
So I think when it comes down to a lot of hunting scenarios, or what weapon you use, again, I'm throwing out my opinion. So if you're mad, I'm sorry. It's not personal. I think
I'm mad. It's personal.
You're always mad. You'll get over it.
Hurt my feelings.
In your words, you'll be mad, but you'll still talk to me.
We're done. We're done, Mr. Treble Hook.
But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it, my own opinion, comes down to jealousy. I think, let's go to compounds and crossbows. Okay, let's just go there. I think that the compound bow hunter, and we all know because we've been that hunter, right? Has to go shoot 3-4 times a week, 10, 20 reps a day, and it's got to keep that arm so he's not shaking and moving when he gets the draw back and holding and waiting. He's got to be precise. He's got to be able to hit 10, 20, 30, 40 and hit the heart. He's got to put all that work in. The crossbow hunter can go out and put in 10, 15 shots and say, dude, this is dead on. I mean, in the reality, I'm not saying that's what should be done. I'm just saying that's what happens a lot of times. And I think it comes down to jealousy. I think at the end of the day, I mean, look, if you want me to tell you, am I jealous that I can't walk on a piece of property, walk out my back door, shoot a monster buck? Absolutely. I would. That's the dream, isn't it? Isn't that everybody's dream? Less work with more reward. I mean, isn't that the dream? Don't you want to go to your job and make more money for less work? It's the same thing in hunting. I mean, that's the ultimate dream. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to pure pledge jealousy.
Right.
I don't want somebody to shoot that buck on my property. However, I'm not going to be pissed if you shoot it. You know what I mean? I'm not opposed to saying, hey man, you need to meet, you come on over, you can shoot a deer. I've done it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it comes down to that situation. I think that most of our conversation from 2 weeks ago comes down to pure pledge jealousy. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't even know if I can agree with it to a certain point, but I mean, I have some friends that shoot competition all the time, and I mean, them guys can shoot bow. And I mean, in order to get better, they got to constantly shoot. Now, with the crossbow, do we treat it like our rifle? You know what I mean? My crossbow, I didn't take out and sight in this year because I sighted it in last year. And I know it hasn't been moved from where it's at. You know what I mean? I know it wasn't bumped, dropped. So, I mean, I didn't even sight my crossbow in this year.
Shame on you.
Technically, you did. We shot interlock broadheads out.
No, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I lie. You caught me in a lie. But, I mean, even so, who shot a buck this year with their crossbow with interlock broadhead? Hold on. Me.
I can't stand him. Somebody remind me to throw him off the screen. But, I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, I think that's what most of it comes down for. I mean, hunters hating hunters is never going to be the answer. It will never be the answer.
And I mean, that's probably the most childish thing in the world. Oh, you hunt with a crossbow. Oh, you hunt with a comp. It's going to be back and forth forever. That's just like Mike. He just won that 243. He takes out this year and shoots a deer with it. Oh, you shot it with a 243. Well, Mike could go, well, you shot your deer with a 300 Win Mag. I mean, come on. You know what I mean?
I'll probably never hunt with that rifle.
I'm using it as a euphemism.
I know.
Wow, that's a big word for you.
I know. I had to look it up.
So last week.
That word's probably out of context in the subject, though, so we'll get someone.
Last week there was a comment, and the comment made was, it was from Off the Hook Outdoors, and it said, both weapons are different, both require different types of homework. I totally agree with that, and I think Skip, that's where you're at. I think that's what you're saying. I think at the end of the day, I think he made some. So Off the Hook, I think, made some really great statements. So let me just go over Off the Hook's comments from last week. And you guys can jump in any point and comment to it. Off the Hook said, people buy a crossbow, use it one time, and think they are ready to be hunters. And then he also said, like I said, both are different, both require different types of homework, which I think they're both true statements. And I think that crossbow hunter that just goes and buys a crossbow, shoots 5 times at 20 yards and says, I'm good, gives guys like Ryan Huffman, which, a terrible insight. I think between jealousy and ignorance, that's what's ruining it for the hunters.
Yeah.
I really do. That. I think between jealousy and ignorance. Listen, I know public, so I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to piss somebody off, and I'm sorry. But I know the rules are, if you walk into a public stand, tagged or untagged, if no one's hunting in that stand, it is a personal stand to use, right? That's the rules. Now, I think that's horse shit. I think if I put the work in and I scouted that spot and I drug it up in the woods and I put the ratchet strap on and almost fell out, that I should be the only one to hunt it.
I've had that happen a couple times.
Right. So I think it comes down to ignorance. I call that ignorance. I don't care what the law states. I call it pure pledge ignorance. Listen, so let me ask you guys a question. We're kind of off subject, but we're on the same subject in the sense of what we think is ruining the compound to crossbow, arguments all the time. So let me ask you this. If I go in the woods and I shoot a deer, because I've done this, okay? Now listen, and I let my $1,200 Matthew solo cam hang in a tree because I got excited, crawled down, gutted my deer, tug it, and drug it to the car, and we got home and realized, oh crap, I forgot my $1,200 bow in the tree. Does that give you a right to steal my $1,200 bow?
No.
Nope.
So then what gives you the right to sit in my tree stand? Is it not the same thing?
It's the same thing.
Well, one, no, they're not the same thing. Because if you're stealing it, you're removing it from the property. If I'm using it and not harming it, then that's different. Now, I'm of the mind, like, just because I park in a public parking lot doesn't mean you can sit in my car. I'm the same way. But no, stealing and using are different things to me.
Yeah, and people are going to look at things differently. I mean, everybody has a different opinion and stuff, and it doesn't matter, but we all know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, I wish.
Oh, so my point to this whole thing is, here's Chris, who has a different opinion, which is great. I love that. We all have different opinions on BSO. And I love that because we are adult enough to disagree and still have adult conversations.
Right. And
a lot of people
are at the end.
At the end of the day, though, my point to this whole thing was, I knew one of you would chime in and say something different, which is what I was hoping. It just proves that all of us as hunters have a completely different opinion. And we can fight this battle tooth and nail to the end of time. Look, do I think the guy with the Raven crossbow, the guy who I can't afford to buy a $4,000 crossbow should shoot a deer at 80 yards? No. Does Billy Gee do it and lethally kill deer? Yeah. So who am I to say Billy shouldn't do it?
Right.
I think it's insane. I think there's too much room for error. I think that I could name 100 reasons why. However, I'm not Billy. Each to their own. Ted Nugent has always stated. Ted Nugent. I love Ted Nugent for his bold and true statements. He says what's on his mind. It's probably my favorite part of Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent, I will say this every time something's brought up about hunting. Who in their right mind thinks they have the audacity to tell someone what they can or cannot harvest with their tag? I think the same comes down to using it.
Yeah.
Right? I think the same comes if Chris gets his total archery experience and feel by jumping on a deer's back from 20 yards in a tree stand and riding it to the top of the mountain and stabbing it with a pencil till he harvests it. If that's Chris's thrill and he gets the same thrill I do and it's legal, then let him have it.
I'd do it. I would do that.
Videotape it.
Chris,
Yeah.
at our point in life, if we landed on the deer, I don't think it's making it to the top of the mountain. Not for any of us. Maybe Mike.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't do it. My bones are too brittle.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he falls getting a canoe, breaks his foot. He falls on his steps,
Yeah.
breaks some ribs. Dude, he jumps on a deer. He's breaking his back and his legs. I mean,
He says he fell down the
That's-
steps. I think he told
Yo,
the wife
that's-
off, and she just cracked him.
Those are the only bones
That's
I
my-
haven't broken yet.
Hey, that is my fishing partner, and I refuse to push him in a wheelchair to the creek. Okay?
That ain't happening. That ain't happening.
What?
Mike, we're going
You
to
in
build
the
a
wheelchair?
pontoon boat out of your wheelchair. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I love you guys.
Go ahead, Chris. I know you had something to say. Thanks, Dad.
No, that's what I was saying. We'll build it. We'll build an airboat. We can put a fan on the back of it and just put his wheelchair down the creek that way.
Just put me on a chair and sit in the middle. I'll be fine.
So I had some comments I really thought we needed to bring up tonight. And again, I went through and I wrote down a ton. I'm not going to go through all of them. Before I get into some of these comments more, because I already know we're at 36 minutes, I want to bring up one more thing out of last week's show. So Jeff Pike, and every comment Jeff Pike made, if you go back and watch that video, in every argument or every statement or every ongoing whatever, Jeff said the difference now is rangefinders. All the weapons are the same. However, I don't believe the weapons are exactly the same. I think they all fall in the same category. So does anybody disagree or agree with Jeff's comment that traditional crossbow or compound has all gained tremendous abilities, better abilities due to that rangefinder?
Well, I mean, every piece of technology is going to improve it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Chris. You started. Keep going.
No, I don't want to interrupt, Mike.
Keep
You guys
going.
talk too much.
Go ahead.
But now they
Mike's just
have.
getting walked on.
Let me put it. That's how he broke his foot. His wife stopped on him. But
Threw me off the porch.
I know, right? But they have GPS knocks where you can shoot it. If it's still in that deer, you can track it to its.
Track it.
You don't have to do anything, right? I don't have
They're
that with a
illegal in
bullet.
Pennsylvania. They're illegal.
I'm just saying. These things exist, but we don't have that with a bullet. But they have special sights like the V sights now for the bows that are apparently make it real easy to do ranges. I don't have it, so I don't know. But
Chris, Jeff kept saying, hold on. Jeff kept saying that the guy with the traditional recurve had it just as good as the guy with the compound nowadays because he had a rangefinder. Now, I shot recurve. It's not even close to, I think that statement's true. Do you?
No.
Of course not. No.
I do, however, agree with you that technology.
And me being a Cyclops, I kind of need that. I need something else. I can't tell distances because I'm blind. So I mean,
some people just have a hard time judging distance and depth reception and everything, and it just rangefinder makes it that much easier.
Oh, I do agree. It really betters your chances to make a good, clean harvest. You know, if you've got your bow set at 30 and 35, 32 is right between, right? I mean,
now, granted, I could, if they want to make that argument, I could, before I ever get up in the tree stand or get inside my pocket where I'm going to sit on the ground, I could pace it off and put a mark on a tree. this is my 20, this is my 30. And I could do that. Yeah, but then I'm putting scent everywhere.
I used
If
to
I'm
do
marking
that.
it here, I'm marking it here, I'm marking it here. You know?
And-
So I don't know which way would be.
Well, the
And
scent,
I mean,
Chris, I think you said it best. Technology has come so far; it really makes your buying experience better.
Yeah, I mean, even now you can get rangefinders built right into your sights on your compound. I mean, they're expensive to
Mhm.
buy, but I mean, they make them. I mean, they're right on
Like-
they're right on your bow now. You just squeeze it and it tells you the range just
Mhm.
like rangefinder. It tells you right on the halo of the ring. It tells you exactly what the yards are.
Yeah.
But
I do the same thing, Bob.
Read that statement.
Go
Chris.
ahead, Chris.
It says a few times I've used rangefinder. I'll range my shooting lanes when I first get in a tree, then it goes right in the pocket for the rest of the hunt. And that's exactly what I do. Is I will pick out a couple of trees or spots, and I'll say, okay, that's my 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20, 30, 30, 30, 30. And that's exactly what I do too, because I need to do stuff. I can't tell.
And when you first get in a tree, that's when your movement can be the most, right? Like
Yeah.
normally you already made your nose walking in, whatever. I agree. I do the same thing. I stand up or sit, whatever I'm doing. Okay, here's 10, here's 20, here's 30. I'm not shooting that far, but if that big buck comes up here, I might risk it. Here, no, but you know what I'm saying.
But to be fair, I did shoot the buck last year, literally right after I took a leak. So I stood up, peed. I went to sit back down. I'm like, oh, there's a deer. And I shot it.
Isn't that the one you said was laughing when you shot it?
No. It tripped over it. It was all the
guys like buck's laying upside down. Chris got
Hey,
9 arrows in the ground.
made it easier to hit.
Hey, I'll say this now instead of towards the end of the show. It just dawned on me. You know, the crossbow and compound, recurve, the traditional. You know what they're all the same. You know what makes them all the same.
Tell me.
You can shoot an interlock broadhead out of them.
That's my boy. That's my boy. Heck yeah.
All of them.
I love how you did that. That's my man. Salute to Skip.
Yep, even the new air bows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the air. Yeah.
The new air guns and bows come from them, or they come from not them in general, but they all work together.
Oh, they're awesome things too.
There,
I figured I'd say that because everybody wants to say they're all different. Well, that's one thing that makes them all the same.
Anyone tuning in, I know we have a lot of viewers pop in and out. Anyone tuning in, the title card for tonight does not match where we're at. We wanted to be somewhere else. We will make that same title card and change it over to another night of Skip.
Yeah.
We always do that.
The goal was to touch on. Yeah, well, that's kind of why I messaged you and was like, gold? I left it go. Because I knew we'd be into this pretty deep tonight, and I didn't think we'd be to that spot. But it's okay. So I had some comments here. We're already at 43. Let's go over them real quick. Jason Leininger states, who cares about the weapon? I care about what things come in and out of the season. I have to agree. I have to completely agree with Jason that there's so many things I love to hunt that come in and out of the archery season. Anybody disagree?
No.
What do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean?
Like rabbits, pheasants, all those things come in and out during the archery season. He don't think it's fair.
Right.
That's why he said, who cares about the weapon? I care about all the animals that come in and out of the season.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying. It is annoying when I'm sitting there and I'm trying to be as silent as possible, and you have a guy with 2 or 3 dogs coming through chasing pheasants, or what have you.
Or guys sitting
archery hunting and someone's hunting squirrels.
Yep.
I already was in a tree stand. I got to tell you guys this. I was already in a tree stand. Had a squirrel climb up my tree and the guy never seen me and shot a squirrel out the tree I was in.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, what the? Let me tell you, the guy didn't come get the squirrel. I was pretty angry. I was pretty mad. And then I read off the hooks. Brandon Reamer says they think crossbows should have the same season as inlines. Any thoughts to that?
No. One's the word bow is right in it, crossbow, and the other one is an inline, which is a gun. Come on. I mean,
Chris or Mike, any other comments?
Well, the inline season is in during archery, and stuff. You can.
Well, his comment was it should be 1 week and then the late season.
Oh no,
Nope.
I don't agree.
I completely disagree with all of it.
Yep.
I disagree with all the seasons. No, you don't. Because I say I got 4 tags this year for deer. I only got to fill 1 because, my car died. I should be able to take for that entire season that's hunting. I should be able to get one no matter what.
You can.
That's
got to use different weapons.
I can't. I cannot go right now. That's it. It's still in that year of hunting. The year that license is valid. I can't go out and get one right now, can I? No, I paid for it, but I can't use it.
You're just gonna get arrested.
Okay, then you're missing the point.
I got the point, Chris.
If they do anything, I think they ought to do the rifle season. Go back to the way it was: 3 days a doe and the buck season.
Well, they open red tag season up for this stuff. So that's a reason of buying red tags, so you can hunt during the off season.
Not everybody has that. Not everybody has access to it.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah, really.
Go to Game Commission website. It's right on it. Tells you every red tag around.
It's open to the public.
Everybody is access
So I
to it.
I can walk
onto
any farm that uses an ag tag, and I can just hunt on their farm.
You got to purchase a tag.
That's what
you
I'm
have
saying.
to stop them and get them to get a permit.
Right, but if they will not do it, if people will not do it, as you can say, you've seen too, a lot less people, or a lot fewer people, I should say, are allowing hunters to come on. We've had that discussion on here.
Yeah, but not them guys. Them guys want everything dead.
Except coyotes.
Them guys want every deer
Right?
dead. That's why they buy these red tags.
I'm just saying.
So
I think
I agree but I don't agree you should kill them all year long. You kill all the deer
to get it.
You kill every deer possible.
Well,
why? I wouldn't. Because I have 4 tags. I have 4 tags. That's what I get. It doesn't matter if I kill them.
So
all
hunt during that time frame and fill your 4 tags.
Well, see,
I have 4 tags. I killed 2.
Okay, so I'm gonna say something. You're gonna hate me.
I'm gonna smack
we
him
already
before he
hate
even
you.
talks.
Yeah, come through, big boy. I'll put you up for adoption.
Oh, daddy.
Daddy. I think it should go back to the way it used to be. 1 doe tag. That is it. Right now, you could get 4 doe tags. So now, okay, so buck do not breed with buck. They need a doe. None of this identifying as a doe gets you knocked up. So you're going out. So Mike got 4 doe tags. Ben got 4 doe tags. I got 4 doe tags. Chris got 4 doe tags. We fill them. There. Yep. Look how many doe. Just the 4 of us just killed. So,
and that's why they kill the season when they do.
But I mean, look at there's guys that whack 4 doe in 1 day.
Yeah.
But you're depleting the doe population. I mean, buck don't breed. They need doe to breed with. They have to have a doe to breed with. So just say 50 hunters in PA shoot 3 doe. 50 times 3. What do you got? I mean, That's only 50. Did you see
He
how many
can't do
doe
math.
tags were allocated for PA? That was insane.
Well, I just seen on an article just this past week that 5C and 5D, they're going to allow people to purchase double-digit tags.
Yep.
See, all they're going to do is wipe out the deer population, and then the sport we
That's
love
what they're
is gone.
trying.
I
That's
think
what
it was
they're
like
trying to do.
15 per
But
person.
that's
I think
also
it's
what you want to do by hunting all year long.
Bullshit. I'll call you a liar.
Bullshit,
Right
that's
to
what
your
you want to
face.
do.
I'm calling you a liar.
No,
right
he
I
now.
don't
said he
care.
wanted to be he said he wanted to be to hunt all year to fill his 4 tags, not just hunt all year and kill whatever
kill whatever you get. What's
I don't think
the
you should
difference
get 4 tags. I agree with Skip. I get 4 tags. I never fill 4 tags, ever. You know why? Because I saved some other jack monkey from getting them. That wants to use 4 tags. That's why. I will buy as many tags every year as I can, and I never fill all of them because I don't want some jack monkey filling all 4 tags. That's 2 doe I saved this year.
At least.
And every doe carries 2 fawns. At least
right.
one.
First year,
about
usually first year,
50% carries 2 if you're mature. So I have to completely say by filling them 4 tags, you're doing the same thing. Again, my opinion. You have yours. Skip has his.
Hey, Chris, read that comment. There's a good comment.
When rifle starts, you have like maybe the first 3 days, get the in. Yeah. They also kill the season off for rifle early, but then start inline and bow back up.
All right. So, sneaker lover, please don't hate me. I love everybody that watches our show and comments. This is just my opinion. This is not negatory towards you or anybody else. However, I'm going to go back to my original statement that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can shoot a deer at 150 yards. So I don't think rifle needs the rut. I hunt rifles, so don't
or no rut.
Don't think that I'm judging, but I don't think you need any rut to start. And I think that, I know you're speaking your mind, and I love that you're speaking your mind, so you know that. If you didn't learn with us guys, we disagree a lot. But I don't think rifle needs to hunt any of the rut. And I also think that 2 weeks, let me put it this way. Do I think rifle season could be extended longer in areas? Yes. But I think in some areas, 2 weeks is too much.
Really?
And I think it comes down to the amount of tags issued. I will always come back to the amount of tags issued. How many? Okay, so let's do this. Skip, how many doe did you see this year? And what season did you hunt?
Probably about 10 archery.
How many days and what season?
Archery? What do you mean by how many days?
How many days were you in the woods hunting?
3 total.
And you seen 10 doe?
Yeah.
And shot a buck. Okay,
I've
Mike.
seen 10 of them.
I hunted several days. I seen maybe 30, 35 doe.
In a matter of, now you hunted all seasons. How many days do you think you were out there? How many, if you had to put all your evenings and mornings what together, what would you give me in numbers of days?
Probably 25.
And you're saying about 30, 40 deer.
30, 35.
And Skip was out. Now listen, Skip was out 3 days and seen 10 buck and 10 doe and shot one. I want you to think about that.
I'm hunting a small piece of property. That property's only like 4.5 acres.
Listen, all I'm saying is Skip's lucky like Tobias didn't catch him jumping the fence.
Hey. I ain't on video. I'm good.
Chris, how many times were you out?
Hey, what they charge for me to feed a monkey, buddy? I'm getting everything I got.
How many days were you out between your evenings and mornings, and how many deer have you seen?
I don't know. I was out in archery. I was out a lot more because I had a car then. But as far as what I saw, doesn't matter. They weren't close enough.
Doesn't matter. You're still seeing deer. They're still there.
A couple dozen.
In how many days?
Again, I don't know. I didn't count.
I'm not really asking you to count them and add them. I'm just kind of figuring out where you're at for. So if you've seen 10 deer and you filled 4 doe tags, you had left 6 deer in the property. Think about that were in that area.
You're not getting my point. My point isn't the number of deer. Okay, I get we go back to the way it should be. And I'm saying this. It should be 1 and 1. Right? Like it used to be 1 and 1. My point is I should have as much time as I need to use it because and I'm gonna say it. Didn't you say, man, we should have Sunday hunting? Why? Because people should have more days to do it. People should have more days to hunt because they can't get out during the week. Well,
because people work during the week.
If you can get, yes, okay, thank you for making my point. Because if you can then get it anytime during the year, you can get it when you can get out. You're not restricted.
You know, every other state does a Sunday hunt, right?
It's not about Sunday. Guts for them, Sayakamukna.
It is to me. That's why I think Sunday should be here.
Oh,
because every other state allows it.
Chris is saying,
okay, allow Sunday.
Many opportunities to get out to use his tag.
You can increase your number of opportunities if you work all week, like most people do, and by allowing you to get it anytime during the year. If I want to go out in the middle of January, because that's the time when I'm able to have off, then why can't I do that?
You can.
With whatever weapon I want.
With a bow or a muzzleloader.
With whatever weapon I want.
No, I think that's insane.
Why? What's the difference?
Because the bucks are losing their horns. So the more people in the woods, the more buck you're taking out of there. I do. I care.
Why?
Because that's
what's it matter if you take
out population
you said
for someone else.
You said it's because they're losing their horns. What does it matter if you take it during the regular buck season versus if you take it in January? You're still taking one out of circulation.
Because you're tagging as a doe. And now when
I'm tagging it as a doe. I have a buck tag.
You are tagging as a doe. If it lost its horns.
No, I'm not.
If it lost its horns, you have to report it as a doe. That's state law. And that's what happens. I don't agree with any of the late season. As a matter of fact, I don't even hunt the late season for it. I shot him in rifle when the horns fell off. I hated it. It ate me alive. I think that when the season's here, you got to put your time in during the season and put the work in during the season. There's nights I go hunting, I get off of work, I run out in the woods for an hour and a half. That's part of what it comes with. That's the season we have to hunt. I don't agree with it, but that's what we got.
I mean, with me, I get to hunt Saturdays. That's it. Because I work Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm. And that's the reason I think we should add Sunday. I think it meets everybody in the middle. I think we allow Sunday hunting. It gives everybody 2 days instead of 1. And the guy that works gets that extra day. And we're not cutting into taking bucks without horns. Or, dear God, then we might as well, in my opinion, you know what? Then we might as well just go hunt and kill all the does that have fawns in them, too.
Yeah, everybody's going to have their, you know what I mean? Everybody's going to have their opinions on, just, you can't please everybody.
Exactly. Then they put us in the rifle season during that. Why not push the season back with the ruts in before they drop horns? See, I agree. I hate that the horns fall off. But I will always go back to, I don't think the rifle hunter needs to hunt the rut. The bow hunter's job is to get up close, that 20, 30-yard shot. And I think the rut was for them. I think that, again, my opinions. Everybody's entitled to their own.
I agree with Bob.
See, I totally agree with Bob. I think
absolutely 100%.
I think that's probably the best statement on here today, but between all of us. I think it's just a mixed. I don't know. I think that everybody will always have their own opinion at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I think at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're always going to agree to disagree.
Yep, and
Yeah,
you're never
I
going
mean-
to change it.
And I will always say, go ahead, Skip. You started talking.
And I mean, back to the original subject at hand. I mean, I'm going to be happy if I take my crossbow. I'm going to be happy if I take my compound. Either way, as long as I kill a deer, I don't care what I'm killing it with. As long as I get that deer, that tag filled, I had my archery experience, I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't need to shoot 12
Well, that's
deer.
it.
I mean, it all comes down to what you feel is the experience you want. If you want to shoot 4 doe and that's the experience you like, have at it. But I hope PA gets rid of that. But I know they never will, because they just want to delete the deer population no matter what.
I think some of that comes from the amount of money you spend on a license too.
Well, it's all about the dollar.
For what I spend on a
Well,
license.
So
let
me
go ahead.
That's one of them things. The Game Commission wants to be. I don't know if they are, though. Is the Game Commission self-sustaining? Do they self-sustain themselves?
Through us.
Well, that's the whole point. That
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
That's probably why our license increased so much over the years, because they're self-sustaining. They don't get government funding and federal funding. And I mean, the Fish Commission is the same way. You see what a 5-year license is this year? Insane.
So let me ask you that. Let's say poor Mike tumbles down the stairs, or his wife pushes him.
Not again. Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
breaks
be
both-
honest and start with he gets pushed.
Right. He breaks both his legs
Okay.
right at the start of deer season. He can't get out now the rest of that season. So you're just saying, ha, 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 you're screwed?
Yeah, I'm saying
No.
that sucks to be Mike.
Yeah.
See, no, I am dead set against that. He should have the opportunity and the chance to get it when he can. That's
So the
what I
Game
feel.
Commission knows that Mike is going to break his legs.
But why
and they
not?
should just
No.
say, shit, Mike, let's adjust the season so you can hunt. The reason
why
they
not?
do this is to equal out for everyone and try to make it fair for everyone. That's why they have crossbows and recurves and compounds in the same season. They're trying to make an equal Skip, give me that word. You big words. For everyone to be happy. The problem is no one will ever agree to be
Won't
happy,
ever be happy.
in the rules.
Well, then I'm identifying as Amish from now on, so I can ignore all these rules. And
Technically,
Right,
the
so
state
how is that
law
equal then?
No, actually, the state law states. So I didn't know this. Let me tell you this. I know a guy that beat the Game Commission without a license. He shot deer without a license, and the Game Commission got him, and he won. So do you know why we are all bound by Pennsylvania state game laws? Does anybody know why we're bound by it?
because you live in PA?
Nope.
Because
Because
we
you initially bought a hunting license at one point of your life and signed it. So your signature from there on states that you agree to all PA game laws.
Yeah, well, that makes sense to me.
I mean, you go back, you could probably research it, but someone was telling me a while ago, there was a point in time where if you owned your land, you could hunt whenever you wanted to. If you owned your own land, there was no hunting season then. If you owned your own land, you were allowed to hunt it for whatever you wanted. Now, I don't know when it was, but I'm pretty sure it was way back before I was born.
Yeah, there was a time, and I'm not saying that was wrong either, but back then the grocery stores and things didn't exist like it was either. Back then, you survived off of your own, harvest and things too. So I understand a lot of that. In most cases, go back up. You can highlight that all you want. Read the top of it. In most cases, it does not state in all cases. In most cases. I'm waiting. I know he's going to pop back in here, so I'm waiting.
For what?
You were highlighting everything. I figured you had something to go with it. I was waiting.
No, I was just showing you. No, at this time you cannot legally hunt your own land in PA unless you have a license. That's all.
Yeah, they changed that rule.
I was just showing you what you guys were talking about. I thought that was my job. Okay, bye.
He got so anal. They changed that rule years ago that you couldn't do that. Wayne Mile. In Ohio, we don't need a hunting license to hunt our own land. Well, there you go. So in Ohio, that rule still states. I've never hunted Ohio. Yeah. Thank you, Wayne, for telling us that.
It's probably like that in a couple other states too.
Well, and what's his name there said, and I apologize, I forget your name, said about, he wants to hunt his land. And I think in a lot of cases, your population. If you own the land, you know what's eating your crops or what's standing in your yard. So you know the amount of deer that need harvested and not, right? I mean, Game Commission is based on 4E. 4E is how many thousands of miles, right? Or square acres, or however you want to call it. And I think that when it comes down to a single farmer or single landowner, I think in some cases you do know. I mean, I'll tell you, my neighbor here hates deer. He will never buy a red tag because he says they only show up at night. But he hates deer. He said that they kill all his crops. If you don't get caught and can deal with your own meat, sneaker lover. Hey, me personally, I don't do it, but
guilty.
I will say you are right. There's those instances, and there's a lot of those people.
Yeah.
So when you're filling out your tags and numbers, so let me ask you this, Sneaky. How many people do you think really fill out that tag? Or use the same tag? Or
just got used.
How many 7-year-olds or 6-year-olds you think really harvested their own turkey and deer?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Mentored youth.
I want to stress that I'm not saying those 7 and 6-year-olds don't do it. There are. But you're not going to convince me in areas like we live.
Oh, dude. I mean, that's like, all you got to do is fill your tag out with one of them ink gel pens. It looks good till the next day and you can wipe it right off.
Yeah, you see that comment right there? 75% of the parents laughing my ass off.
And he's generous with that. I'm saying more like 80.
I like him. I like him a lot. Sneaky lover, I don't know your right name, but I like you. You're filling out your own tags. Why I fill out blaming the parents. I like you, brother.
That's why I fill it out online, and I do it right there.
That's what I do.
This way, it's already taken care of.
Yeah, I usually fill mine out in Ben's name. I'm good then.
I read a lot of the BS you'll go through in PA. I hate it for you guys. Thank you, Wayne. Much love, man. Much love.
Hey, PA is one of the dumbest states to ever hunt in. Why do people in Pittsburgh get to start archery like 2 weeks before we do? We're still in Pennsylvania. You know what I mean?
Well, aren't those the areas they're claiming are so polluted with deer that they're...
Like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, the suburbs.
They're the areas so polluted with deer that the world's taken over by them.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my own property. I ain't going to raise my kids to do the wrong thing, but there is people out there to do it. I agree exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. We still got to – so that's where, Sneaky, I think integrity comes in. You know, you either choose to have the ignorance or the integrity. Which one do you stand by?
Yeah, integrity and morals.
Yep, I agree totally. But guys, I don't know if you realize this, but we're like an hour and 10 minutes in.
Yeah, I gotta get going here to get the little guy to bed.
Mike, it's past your bedtime.
Don't forget to take your Geritol tonight.
Yeah,
Geritol.
They let him out of the home?
I'll be up with you.
Hey, Mike, is the nurse soon bringing the? Hey, Mike, is the nurse soon bringing the applesauce or what?
I'll be awake when you sissies are getting up for work. Remember, I work night shift.
Well, why we gotta be sissies right away? Why we gotta be sissies right away, Mike?
Yeah. Just because I like wearing women's dresses.
By the way, you're old and now we're sissies.
You guys were the ones complaining, not me.
Hey, sneaker
I'm
lover,
just ready for trout season. We already started trout season.
Just so you know, you can fish trout all year long.
Yes, you can.
You can here. Sneaky, you got to get on. Not in 2 weeks, but after that, we'll get Skip on again. And screw the cold. And we'll get Skip on to tell you a little bit about how he feels about palominos and treble hooks. It'll be a fantastic conversation.
You guys will love it.
If you think we feel strong about morals and ignorance in hunting, you don't want to hear how Skip feels about treble hooks and delay harvest, buddy. You do not.
Yes, you guys will love it. He threw 2 guys in the water on Saturday over it.
Dude, it was bad. Nothing's better than walking down the creek and you see a dead fish with the gill plates with hooks in, and Skip goes.
Skippy saved one on Saturday.
There's another treble hook guy killing fish, and the guy's 2 feet from you.
Skippy saved one on Saturday.
Listen, bud.
I seen him giving it mouth to mouth. He was pumping its chest upside down in the water. He said, "Come on, I don't want to lose you now, baby."
Listen,
he saved that rainbow.
I hope you all wake up with a Rapala in your ass cheek.
Whoa!
With barb trouble.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
No,
Do not threaten me with a good time. I hope you dream about treble hooks all day long.
Oh, dude.
All night, I hope you just think about treble hooks. I hope you wake up going like this, thinking they're attached to your cheek.
Probably.
Everybody, can you feel the love?
I hate treble hooks.
It'll be a good one, I promise you.
Anyway, that is a whole new show. Next week's show we have coming on. Chris, help me out, please. I gave Chris all the info and I'll lose it. Thank you, Chris. Chris, where you at?
Hunter Roger.
Hunter Rogers with.
Keep going. You can do it.
I don't remember.
North Mountain. Come on.
You're a big boy.
I have his logo here, but I can't read it. North Mountain Game Calls. Thanks, Chris. Go. So in 2 weeks, we have Hunter Rogers with North Mountain Game Calls. You guys are going to join in. You want to hear about his calls, his deals, where to buy them, how he makes them, his passion for them. So anybody watching, make sure you jump on in 2 weeks. We do our show every 2 weeks. If there's a subject or a title or something you'd like to come on and discuss with us, send us an email at bigsexyoutdoors2021@gmail.com, or you can contact us on Facebook. If there's just a subject you'd like to hear us discuss, we have that as well. The guys from the show 2 weeks ago will be joining us again, but as of now, I have, in 2 weeks, I have another guest coming on. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. As you can see, we get a little feisty and rowdy about how we believe as well. But at the end of the day, us guys love each other, and we're like brothers. So we can definitely agree to disagree.
Yes, we can.
And we have a great time together. I wish we videoed our day out to eat on Saturday after fishing. Sneaky Lover, I'll be back. I love it, man. Thank you. There's another one.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe, brother. So Thursday at 4:30, it'll be right around 4:30, 5 o'clock. We will be going live. We're going to be giving away one of BCI European mounts. So we're going to give one of them away. Mike's going to bring his shed he just found out. We're going to install that shed live. We're going to go over some things we're coming up with. So we're going to be glow-in-the-dark painting blue rocks for a shoot we plan on doing for you. And a lot of fun things. So I also want to say again, at the beginning of the show, I know we get people in and out, that we just picked up a new sponsor. Susquehanna Custom Lures has just picked up. So they shipped us a box. I am excited to see what's in the box. Guys, I hope you're excited. They make a beautiful red fin with a little, rattle in it. And I'm super excited to see the rest coming. So thank you guys for that sponsorship, and we look excited. We will also, if it's here by Thursday, catch the next one, going to subscribe. Thank you. There's two guys. Thank you very much. So if you're around Thursday when we go live, I also want to point out that we are going to open the box from Susquehanna Custom Lures. So if it's here on time, they were supposed to ship it out Saturday. If not, we'll do that in the following week. We'll open that live and show off a lot of them. That way you guys get to see. I like to show what the sponsors give us and their products, and you guys get to see what it is. Thank you for joining us tonight. God bless every one of you. Out of here.
Have a good night, guys.